my name is Pebbles Weedy Camp. I am a shop owner of a girls clothing line called Little Miss Fairy Tale and a teething jewelry shop called Little Teether. And with those two businesses, I'm able to stay at home with my girls and work from home, do what everybody wants to do. Hi, thanks for joining. So let's get started. Let me see, adjust this a bit. Okay, so I got a college degree in communications. I thought that, I was going to work some big corporate world. Thank you. Oh, thanks. Sweet. I thought I was going to, be a corporate woman in the office. I worked for American Express, and that was where I was pregnant and on maternity leave. So I'm on my 12-week maternity leave. We'll start there. So in those 12 weeks, I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll go back to work. I'll send my kid in daycare. Let's get that person off of here. And, it'll be fine. I'll just work and it'll be good to go. So I am on like day 2 of my maternity leave after I have my child. And I'm like, I cannot go back to work. I am obsessed with this baby. All I want is to hold her and stare at her all day long. Like, I don't know how I could ever go back to work and just leave her with somebody else. So that's when I started scrambling. I'm like, what can I do to make extra money? I created a money plan where I kind of laid everything out with my husband's income and not necessarily trying to figure out how I can make exactly what I made in my corporate day job, because that would just be some miracle to just instantly make, a full-time income sitting at home. But realistically, I was like, what can we do to pay the bills? So I gathered his income. I wrote down all of our bills. I was like, if we never eat out again, if we never do anything outside of the house, if I never buy another thing, can I please figure this out? My husband's like, whatever you got to do. Like, I know this is important to you. I support you. Just, we need to be able to eat and pay our bills. It's like, okay. So I figured out that magic number. I don't even remember it now, but I think it was under $1,000 a month. It wasn't too bad. So this was when we lived in like really our starter home, and I was like, we can't do anything ever again. So I was like, what can I do? What can I be passionate about and I've always liked to make stuff. Hey, thanks for joining. So I was like, well, I'm obsessed with my newborn baby girl. I'll make her stuff and I'll try to sell it. So I was cutting up my husband's t-shirts, making little baby headbands and little barefoot sandals. And I had previously had an Etsy shop making wedding products. But that was just so sporadic and definitely like seasonal for me. So I was like, on top of that, I had to do something else. So I was like, I'm going to make these little baby headbands and barefoot sandals and see what happens. So I would literally make one with my husband's scrap t-shirts. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos to make sure I'm doing it the right way and learn sizing and fitting and everything, and, put a million things around my daughter's head to figure it out. And I was selling these for like $5. And I was making maybe like $2 a headband. I'm like, yeah, $2, like that. If I do that this many times, that's this much money and I can figure this out. So, this is probably week 4 of my maternity leave. So I'm like, okay, I still have 2 more months. Luckily, I had 12 weeks of paid leave. So I was like, I have 2 more months where I can see if I can do this and not go back to work and start really like a business. So I found a couple of daily deal sites that I was able to pitch some really basic, my headbands and barefoot sandals on. And how a daily deal site works is you put your item on their website for 3 days. It hopefully sells a ton, and then they get like a 30% commission. That's about the range for a small product like mine. So I would put them up for like $6. I would end up with $4. My product and labor would cost me like $3, and I would get $1. But I sold 100 headbands. I was like, oh my God, I just made $100 in 3 days. That was amazing, because I'm like, yeah, it's really high, but you get all their customers, they promote it, like it's their platform. So you just have to understand and make sure your margins are there, where at least you're making something. And for me, I was like, if I'm making any profit is profit, and I am needing to pay these bills, and I'm staring at my daughter like, I got this, girlfriend, like, don't worry, we're gonna do this. So I sold 100 headbands, which I made $100. And then I was like, what else can I do? Like, this is cool, but I can't keep repeat selling these same headbands on these deal sites and still continue to make 100 sales. So I would just stare at these websites all day long and figure out what's selling, what's doing well. And I came across, like, people were selling a lot of, now mind you, this is 2012. So the deal sites were still like starting to boom. Zulily was pretty big, but these other ones were not too big yet. So everyone was really excited and buying a ton. So anyway, I decided to import these little baby rompers. I was like, I'm going to start with just one product. I brought in 20 rompers. I ended up profiting like $2.50 a romper. So that's like 2.5 times my other profit, and I wasn't making them. So I'm like, heck yeah, this is amazing. So I would sell those. I would take half my profit and pay bills, and the other half, whatever little bit I could, to invest in the next thing. I didn't take out a loan. I didn't put my family in debt. I had to do this the smart way for our family, and so that I could sleep at night without being stressed if I'm putting our family's financials in danger by this company that I'm just like winging it. Like, I'm going to sell what I think will sell. Thanks for the hearts. So I started doing, it just kind of snowballed from there. So I would do the rompers. I would do those on the daily deal sites. I started doing more than one daily deal site. And then I started really researching what was selling on these sites and figuring out how I could do it better or different. So somebody was selling once a phone charger. Like, this is 2012 still, so we're just a little old school. And they were selling, it was like just this wall charger for an iPhone. And I was like, they sold out in the first like couple hours of the listing. And I'm like, they're onto something. So I looked up and figured out how I could buy these like 3-in-1 sets. So it was the cord, the plug for the car, and the plug for the wall. And I bought them for like the iPhone 4, iPhone 5, no, I think it was just like the 4 and the Android, like 2 different types. I sold 600 cell phone chargers in 3 days. And those, I think I made like $4 profit on each. So I made $2,400. Like, that was probably my best daily deal buy of stuff that I just kind of randomly stumbled upon. I was doing anything to make a buck. And I was like, oh my gosh. So with that money, I wanted to really do something that I wanted to build a business on. So I started investing in more of the girls' clothing, because I could see myself being able to do that more long term. So I started doing these little sets and selling them on daily deal sites. Then I was approached by Zulily. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. So I started selling my clothing on Zulily, and now I've grown. Fast forward 2016, I have my clothing business is run almost on auto. I say on auto because Zulily picks dates that I run items. I have everything in a Zulily warehouse, so their team, and I pay them for this, but their team goes in, packs, ships, and sends it to Zulily. Zulily sends it to customers. I have no customer service. I don't have to deal with getting dates to run my items. I just have to make sure there's inventory, make sure there's photos, and get it going. And it took a lot for Zulily to take me seriously, because I'm like this itty bitty guy, and they're the biggest daily deal site that I know of. So I was really lucky to get in with them a couple years ago, and now that's like my business, and I'm like, I just have to make sure I have clothes, and that thing is good. So that was pretty awesome. I do pretty well with Zulily now. I run about 4 events a month, and it's awesome. My other business is my teething jewelry line. So when my daughter was 6 months, she ripped my really nice Tiffany's necklace off of my neck, or maybe she was even younger. She might have been like 4 months, because it was by 6 months I had the product. Anyway, so by 4 months, we'll say, she ripped my necklace off. It was like, no, this is like awful. I am a mom now. I can't wear hoop earrings. I can't wear my jewelry. I can't wear shirts that I can't breastfeed in. I know you guys understand that. I have to wear my hair up because she yanks on my hair all the time. I'm like, I just felt like I was losing myself. And I'm like, I need to make something that I can wear that isn't going to rip off my neck. Like, that was my first priority. So I'm looking and looking for jewelry that had some sort of a class where they weren't going to tear it off my neck. Couldn't find anything. So I was noticing like silicone beads kind of rolling around, and I was like, I can do this. So I ordered like 2,000 plain beads, and I made these necklaces. And now, disclaimer, I do not make my jewelry anymore. I have it made for me. That way I go and get it properly tested to make sure it's safe and good to go and everything. But these ones I did hand make. I didn't sell my handmade ones up. I just did it to design them. So I designed these necklaces. I, of course, used my own child as my, test baby. And she could tug on them. She could chew on them. I could throw them in the dishwasher. It was amazing. So from there, I was able to make my own little samples, take pictures, and build a website for very cheap. And did everything so basic in the beginning, because I was like, I have no idea if this is going to sell. Fast forward to today, my teething jewelry line, I've separated the businesses. I had them just as one, but last year I decided to separate them so I could kind of build up Little Teether on its own. I am in approximately 25 to 30 wholesale stores, which just started in November. I just started reaching out to stores. So this is like really new for me to get into wholesale. So it's really cool to see shops pictures of like my product, and I'm like, it's real, it's not just like in these things, it's real life. And it's awesome to think that I designed this. Like, I have drawings of product that you see. Like, it's just cool. It's awesome feeling. It's amazing that I know I have X amount of streams of income. That's like my biggest thing, is like, I was so scared that when I was just doing one daily deal site that it was going to disappear, or somebody was going to knock me off and undercut me. That is like my biggest worry ever, is what if I don't have money coming in tomorrow? So right now I have income. I have an Amazon store, which is just my teething jewelry on Amazon. So I have product that I sell on Amazon, Zulily, Etsy, and then I do my own website, and then I do wholesale accounts, and then I do like one-offs, like Instagram. People will buy stuff on Instagram, and I'll do sales on there. And then I can get revenue via Facebook or email marketing, and just there's so many ways now that I feel like, oh shoot, it's in Arizona, y'all, so it's 100 degrees right now. I'm like, I'm about to have $400 electric bills. They're usually $100 in the winter, so I'm like, I need to remember that I gotta make an extra $300 next month. So it's nice to be like, oh, well, I can just maybe approach a daily deal site and do a deal, and that will cover that bill. Like, that is such a good feeling. First step to selling towards daily deal sites. I contacted everybody, and I still do. I try to sell on everybody's website. Like, I have probably emailed Babies R Us like 30 times, because I don't care. I'm a hustler. I'm like, they're not gonna find just little old me. Like, I have to show them that I want to be there. I'm serious. I want to be a part of their company. So the first daily deal site I did was called Very Jane at the time. Now it's just Jane. So just jane.com. I think there's a link on the bottom that says like, contact us about becoming a vendor. I would go through all of their products right now and see if, yours kind of fits in their category. Because there's a few companies, like one is called Brickyard Buffalo. They're more, like, my clothing would do horrible there. Because my clothing is very, like, boutique-y, like, over-the-top frills, ruffles, patterns, prints, insane. Very Zulily, but not Brickyard Buffalo. So make sure that your product kind of fits in their, genre so that you obviously do well and you're not wasting your time. But yeah, there's daily deal sites for everything. You can just search daily deal sites. I would email every single one of them, send them. I would just say, hey, this is the product I'd like to sell. It usually retails for $20. I can do it to your customers for $15, and that means likely that you will end up getting around $10 after that. And it'd be so easy, so easy. They're just looking. I mean, all they want is like the next best thing, just like their customers. So daily deal sites, totally get on it. And it's so nice if like urgent bills come up or something, because you usually get paid as long as you can ship quickly. You'll get paid quickly, and even Handmade can do on there because they'll do custom. It's awesome, and I shop on there all the time too because it is a deal. But at this point, so I'm running on whatever I said, 5, 6, 7 streams of income, and the number one question I get from people is, how did you get to do what you do? Like, I'll run into people from high school and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I work from home and I have 2 kids. And they're like, what do you do though? They're like, oh, do you sell this or do you sell that? Like all these quote unquote pyramid scheme type products where it's like you try to get everybody to sell for you and parties and all that kind of stuff. Like, no, I have like legit, like I have a business. I have 2 businesses actually, and it's crazy and hectic, but it's amazing. Like, I would love to get to a point where my husband could do this full time, even though we drive each other crazy. But I think that having your own business, it's so empowering and it's so amazing to just be able to have something else besides mom next to my name. Like, I was just getting to a point, even when I was just making a little bit of money, is I'm like, this sucks. We can't eat out. We can't go do anything. And I feel like it was my fault because I made the decision to stay at home. Even though daycare would have been insane, especially with 2 kids. But just thinking how it was, that's just how I was feeling. So, so people really were asking me, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? And I'm trying to tell them, you can do it. Like, just think, what are you into? And so, basically, what I started doing, my new account is called Business and Babies. That's what my Periscope is. And please share this out if you think that your customers or your clients or your Periscope followers, friends, whoever they are, would think that this is useful or inspiring, right? Because it's another mom. I'm just like you. So I decided to start a business called Business and Babies because that's what I am. I have 2 businesses and I have 2 babies. And I want to help other moms do what I do, take them through the path, help them not make mistakes that I've made, and I've definitely made them, you know, kind of just this cheat sheet guide of streamlining from idea to business. And I think it's very overwhelming if you've never had a business before, or if you don't understand, like you don't even know what these sites are or Facebook groups or even how to work a PayPal account. Like, I get it. We were all there at one point, and I think to us now, it's like, it just seems so simple. Like, oh, well, yeah, just PayPal me the money, or here's my card and you can use your Stripe, or whatever the case. It's like, people, that's foreign to a lot of people. And new moms, you're in my same situation. Like, I get it. You want to be at home, and it's hard. The struggle is real, and I can help you get to that point. I want to help you. I have so much knowledge, and I've sold almost everything I could, anything I could get my hands on. I've sold, like I said, I sold car chargers for phones, and I have a clothing line, and I have a teething jewelry line, and I've sold like chalkboards, and I've sold like stationery, and I've sold washi tape, and I've sold, I'm trying to think of some of my deals, like all the hair accessories and nail polish. I mean, I've literally anything I could make a quick buck on, I did, because it was like, I'm hustling to make that money. And, you know, I've paid for vacations in cash. We got a new car, not in cash, but I was able to afford a new car, my payments, with my income. And it's just so awesome to be at that point where I'm like, don't worry, we can afford that. My husband's like, really? We can? And I'm like, I got this. Like, it's fine. We're good. Like, I had a really good month last month, and he still has no idea what I do. God bless him. He's just like, thanks for paying these bills, and letting me buy whatever I want. But you can get to that point. It is not as overwhelming and crazy as it seems. I am totally here to help you get there. I am setting up a mini course. This is the first place I've mentioned it. I'm setting up a mini course for how to start a business. And from there forward, I'm also going to be adding a lot of things like Amazon, just going over Amazon, how I sell on there, daily deal sites, how I got started on there, how to sell appropriately so you make money, and how to advertise, that kind of thing. And building your own website, growing your Instagram. There's a lot to know, and I just feel like kind of awful if somebody tells me, hey, I just started an Etsy shop. I'm like, cool. And then I'm like, I am going to word vomit on you right now because I have so much that I can help you with. Really, it's like, I don't want to see them make these mistakes and cut these corners or do things that's going to hinder their success. Like, there's room for everyone. That's something I think strongly above. Like, I don't like it when people are like, oh, you're going to share how you did that? Like, what if they come in and I'm like, I don't care. There are millions of people, like, and they're not all buying from me. So we're good. Like, you can sell what you sell and I can sell what I sell, and we're going to succeed in this world. We're going to be good. So I really want to help you guys do what I do. Like, let's do this. I hope this was informative. You learned a little bit more about me and how I got started, and I can't wait to share more. Thanks for joining.